The Blast from Our Past Network.
Hello there, Star Wars fans.
And fellow whiskey nerds.
Our podcast, Star Wars and Whiskey Pours, gives you a weekly shot of whiskey reviews.
Combined with hot takes from all things in a galaxy far, far away.
So if you need a little Boba Fett and Blantons in your life,
or some Jedi and Jameson, then join me, Adam,
and me, Corey, on the Star Wars and Whiskey Pours podcast.
Found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all your favorite podcatchers.
May the whiskey be with you.
Lock your doors, close your windows, turn out your lights, for chills and thrills await you. It's time for Podcasting After Dark with your hosts, Corey Stevenson and Zach Schaefer. Stay with a friend, say your prayers as grisly ghouls close in to seal your doom. Tonight's episode, Joysticks, starring Joe Don Baker, John Grise, and Corinne Bohr.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Podcasting After Dark, the #1 cult movie podcast on the internet. I am one half of the pad team proper, Corey, a.k.a. Sleazy C, and joined with me is my sister from another Mr. Erin from Manic Movie Monday podcast, one of my all-time favorite cult movie podcasts. Thank you so much for coming on, Erin. It's been wanting to have you on for a while, and one of the main reasons Zach and I sort of switched up our format was to open things up to guest hosts and everything like that. So, Erin, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I apologize. I'm a little late. I got a little Pac-Man arthritis going on. So, yeah, we have to talk about that. We have to talk about my sordid history with video games.
Oh, good. That is one of the bullet point questions that I have for you during our discussion. But this episode, we are talking about 1983's Joysticks. It's a raunch-com from the 80s. And, Erin, is this your first time watching it?
This was a total first-time watch for me, Corey. I had seen clips of it on YouTube, and I knew that it had some people in it that I totally dug. I love when they throw a playmate in there. That's always like an 80s film trope, I think, is just like, hey, who's the playmate of the year this year? Or who's playmate of the month? Let's just throw them in there and show some titties. It is absolutely a sex, whatever you want to call it, teen sex comedy from the 80s, and I dig it. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I wasn't horrifically problematic, and I actually liked the characters, so there was that. Yeah, I dug this movie. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, me too. First time watch here. I picked up the MVD Blu-ray when it came out like a year and a half ago or something. Sort of one of those, I was like, oh, I just like the cover. And I don't even know if I've even heard of this before that MVD release came out. Sat on my shelf for a bit. I hit Erin up about coming on the show and gave her some options to choose from movie-wise, and she picked this, which I was happy about because it's also a first-time watch for me. So I think you and I were literally watching it almost together at the same time on opposite sides of the country for the first
of the world.
time. Yeah. But same. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought it was funny. The soundtrack is wild. I mean, the original songs for this are absolutely insane.
Oh my God, are they insane?
The cast.
Yeah.
The cast is bananas.
Bananas.
I went, again, buying this for the first time, didn't even look it up. I literally bought it for the movie poster alone, and I had no idea who was in it. So, as I'm watching this movie, it's like, oh my God. This is madness.
Yep. My the love of my life said, he's like, oh, that's another John Grease movie I've never seen.
Yeah,
because he's coming up with a list of movies that he will pop up in occasionally. So
it's wild. Now, real quick before we get into the crew and the cast and everything like that, tell everybody a little bit about Manic Movie Monday and you and Hillary's podcast.
Yes, me and Hillary have a podcast that airs every Monday at midnight. And so when you wake up Monday morning, you have something to listen to. Yay. And we do everything from horror to cult films to B movies. Sometimes we do some more serious fare. We just did Promising Young Woman a couple of months ago, and that's one of our most popular episodes. We also tend to mix in our backgrounds with addiction and aging and just being Gen X women. And our evil leftist politics.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, same. I mean,
But no,
Zach
yes.
and I.
Yes, exactly. But we've been doing it. We just celebrated our 5th year. So
Yeah, congratulations.
thank you so much. And we love it. We love our fans. We do kind of a scene by scene plot point kind of, you know, um, format, and then we talk about different aspects of it or how it related to us in our personal lives, our background with the movie, and then we have a sister podcast called Jello Shots, which is strictly Italian horror.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I love it. I'm a fan. I'm a listener. The funny thing is, I listen to mostly like paranormal podcasts, Bigfoot and ghosts and stuff. But you talking back, Return, Revenge, Resurrection are one of like the handful of movie podcasts that I listen. Of course, $2 late fee is Zach's as well. But those are like the handful of ones that I movie ones that I actually listen to. My favorite episode is House on Sorority Row. I've listened to. I was telling Erin offline. That's my comfort episode. If sometimes I'll like when I game at night. If my wife's asleep because she's got to get up early and I'm high and drunk and I don't want to like listen to the game. I'm just like shooting things or whatever. I've listened to House on Sorority Row episode I think 4 times now. Could I tell you what you guys talked about? No, probably not, but it's my comfort episode. I love it. I love hearing about it.
We had a fun time with that because that was a first time watch, and that was also a buy me a coffee. That was something that someone had paid us to watch, and we had never seen it before, and we had such a great time with it, and we had such a great time relating it to just the types of struggles that women have to deal with like not wanting to have babies or just things like that. And the movie itself, even though it was like from 82 83, is very timely.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a Maryland cult classic, so that always
it
makes me
is.
happy. As an ex-Marylander, well, once you're a Marylander, you're always a Marylander.
Always a Marylander. Yeah.
I'm a Marylander living in. I was a Marylander living in L.A. Then now I'm a Marylander living in Oregon. But Erin, as a fan, I gotta say, please get a Patreon up so I can donate to it and support you guys.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. I know at the moment we had a Patreon going for a while, but because Hillary and I respectively run the same company. We run a company. Like she owns the company and then I like help her run it. We're just the only thing we have room for at this point is just to do our 1 episode a week and record on our Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. So we haven't had a chance. That's why we opened the Buy Me a Coffee. But I totally someday we will have our own Patreon with our own little like tier and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, I'm anxiously looking forward to it. Just as much as I was anxiously looking forward to talking Joysticks with you. When a local businessman and his 2 bumbling nephews try to shut down the town's only video arcade, the arcade employees and patrons fight back. And it's your typical give us an example of what this movie, other movies of this ilk, and what they're like.
Kind of like the save something with our breasts, with breasts, save something with breasts, essentially, because it's the like, hey, let's get as much action as we possibly can in here using the nubile young women that frequent arcades. Sure, yeah, I didn't know if that was a thing, but. Like I was watching it, I was like, wow, these women are really horny for the men who play this. And these men, are kind of chuds. Like,
yeah.
Oh, poor Dorfus.
But... I love Dorfus.
I love Dorfus. But
he's flatulent because he's fat. Thus is the way of things back in the 80s.
Yes, that is apparently, yeah, those 2 things were somehow connected in their way. But yeah, it's essentially the like, hey, we're gonna put on a show. It's like, okay, we're gonna fight City Hall.
Yeah.
So I guess if I had to pick a movie that didn't have a bunch of titties in it, I would say like Kidco.
Okay.
Kidco would be absolutely one of those, like, we're gonna like um similar to, I'm trying to think of what other ones. Although Porky's really had that same deal, especially Porky's 2, for instance. Porky's 2 is very much about I mean, I hate to say it, guys, hate to break y'all's hearts here, but it is a very much an anti-racist movie. It is a movie about fighting the religious right. It is a movie about fighting the local government in Florida, and it is a movie about fighting against having this one Native American guy play Romeo to a white woman's Juliet. So, on its surface, obviously, it's a titty flick, but underneath it, it has all of these different issues. And so, yeah, this is kind of one of those movies.
I would say Joysticks isn't that deep, but
right? No, it's not.
But it is the stereotypical setup. The setup is sort of nothing to write home about. It's also sort of like surrounded by a bunch of vignettes, little vignette scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd say there's only like this movie's like an hour and 26 minutes. There's probably only 50 minutes of like plot scenes, and the rest of it is vignette scenes surrounding it, which I have no problem with, because what really I think elevates this movie is the amazing cast. We have a lot of people to talk about, starting with Joydon Baker. He's a Pad alumni because he was in Fletch, of course.
Of course, he's in Fletch, but he is in a movie that me and my fiance watch at least once a month, and that movie is Mitchell. We love Mitchell. We quote Mitchell. No, that is moi chef's kiss Joydon Baker cinema is Mitchell.
When I was a kid, I would always get Joydon Baker confused with, I forgot his name, but he was the head air traffic controller guy in Die Hard 2. The older guy. Didn't he also go on to be like a senator? And guys and gals, I'm just vamping while I pull up IMDb.
Oh, no. You're talking about Fred. He's also in Feds, and he did become a senator, and he did actually have a relationship with a country music star by the name of Lori Morgan. Why do I know that? Fred
Thompson.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And good. Yes, that's totally normal to get those two mixed up, because they're both sort of old Southern boys.
Old Southern white guys that are clearly kind of big and tall, not fat, but like, big boned and everything. Not quite Dorfus fat, but,
Stocky.
Still pretty big. Yeah, big dudes. So, Erin, Leif Green as Eugene, he was in an episode of The Powers of Matthew Starr, which we covered on TV Obscura. He was also on an episode of Facts of Life, but I'm sure some people out there, not me, know him as Davey in Grease 2.
You're damn right I do.
I figured.
I celebrate Grease 2. That is the hill at which I choose to die on, will die on. I belt those songs out like I am paying the rent. I love Grease 2. I know that is, like I said, hot take coming. And Davey is like, he's maybe like 4'9" in that movie.
Yeah.
Nobody in that film is particularly tall. Like, just to get it out there, the T-Birds are quite diminutive, but Davey himself is like a foot less than everybody else. He's so cute.
Well, and of course, my only like sort of experience with him here is in this movie as a nerd. But during that like one fantasy sequence when he's like sort of turned into the dominatrix dude, I was like, oh, he's got some riz, as the kids would say.
Oh, he's really cool, and also he was really, I don't know if he still does it, but he's been doing it since 1985. But he was one of the big fundraisers for AIDS Walk Los Angeles.
Oh, cool.
1985 is when he started it. So very, very grassroots. And he has raised a lot of money for just AIDS research in general and HIV. And he's just a really kick-ass, cool dude in general. This movie, I'm trying to think. It's this movie, Joysticks, Take Care. Yeah. That's it.
And then it's
I
like,
know, bro.
it's kind of like in more of an ensemble cast. There's no real main sort of main character, even though they sort of try to make Jeff the main character by the end. It's still more of an Animal House scenario where everyone is sort of, it's very ensemble. And like Animal House, we do have the Belushi-esque character, Jim Greenleaf as Dorfus. We've seen him as Swanson in Tag the Assassination Game. He was also in Night Shift, but he was also in an episode of The Powers of Matthew Starr as well.
Oh, I think it's interesting if you go down his IMDb resume, a lot of these roles are like fat guy, like beer guy, like it,
And
like
it's...
he
I get it. Like, I get
the
the
80s.
the 80s archetype. Like, I understand where it is, but I found him to be funny outside of the farts. Like, and I say that because I really liked his facial expressions in this.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely a, how should we say it, less problematic Belushi. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely he definitely seems like he would have gone in that direction. Like when I first saw him, I was like, is he that guy in King Frat? You know, because that's like the Animal House that time forgot kind of movie.
Yeah.
But then I looked it up and I was like, oh, he played a lot of fat dudes. Like
Just a lot of fat guys. Yeah. I
That's
think
what
even
they and then
Night Shift or something, he was just like frat guy or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's all. But he's good. He's animated. His
Yeah.
character kind of gets a lot to do, even though a lot of it is farting. He still gets a lot of screen time.
he's fun.
Yeah.
You know, he was a fun character, and you know that's all we can really say about Dorfus.
that's all we really need too.
That's what we need to say about Dorfus. Yeah.
Scott McGinnis as Jeff Bailey. He runs the arcade. He's the manager of the arcade. He was in Star Trek 3, Search for Spock. He was in Secret Admirer, but he's also a PAD alumni because he was in 315, The Moment of Truth.
Ah, okay. So I know him from a little 80s movie called You Can't Hurry Love with
Okay.
Bridget Fonda.
Yeah.
Which is, it's very strange that she ended up in this movie. You got to start somewhere, right? But so he's in that, and he has this very distinct like California boy face. So I never forgot it. And so when I saw it, when he pops up in Joysticks, I was like, I know that face. I know that face somewhere. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, he's the main dude in You Can't Hurry Love. Got it. Okay.
And I hate to say it like this, but he's almost like a poor man's version of Ted McGinley. And, and that sounds mean and cruel to say that, but it kind of what he comes off as. Also, sort of like the poor man's version of Sheffer, Boone from Nightbreed, a little bit.
Oh,
Craig
Sheffer. Yeah.
Little bit of a poor man's version of him as well, but he does fine in this movie. I would say he's kind of my least favorite actor in the film, and not character-wise, but actually, like, acting-wise, he's probably my
Just
least favorite.
acting-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really, he's kind of, his job essentially is to kind of be like the foil. Because like there's, like Eugene is just trying to get laid someday kind of thing. But Eugene has the best dialogue. Like they gave him the best, and they probably knew that Leif Green could do it. They were probably like, that guy's like, he knows his stuff. He can totally rattle up this stuff off and sound super, super intelligent. But yeah, Scott McGinnis is not like, he's on there, but like, save for the whole scene where we find out about how he became this, he's like, he got the yips when it came to playing video games because of that whole girl situation, which reconciles itself in a very strange way at the end of this movie. Like it was like, I don't know why we needed to do that, but to bring her back, I guess, because she's hot. I don't know. But his whole role in it is just kind of like, I'm the master of ceremonies, burr to burr, but he doesn't have the charisma of of any of the characters in Animal House, really. Like if you think about, Tim Matheson and Peter Riegert both have so much charisma that they could get me to join a frat and I'm a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're very like, hey, I'm Otter. Damn glad to meet you.
But but at the same time, like I didn't dislike his character. It's just he was kind of flat, I felt like. But I liked how, Eugene comes onto the scene and he's kind of getting punked and everything, and you think, okay, first time watching, is Jeff and Dorfus gonna be mean to him the whole time? No, they kind of take him under his wing, and Jeff turns out to, like, I wouldn't say he's like a good guy, but like as far as movies go, he's not like the bad guy of the film. And, you know, like, and it's also too, I'm like, sometimes like, okay, then he hooks up with those two girls, but he's really in love with his ex-girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, I guess she did leave. He's not doing anything wrong, but like movie language, you kind of wanted him not. If like the second time I watched it, I felt it was more weird that he hooked up with those two girls when he gets back with his girlfriend at the end, because you kind of like movie structurally, you think he should have been a bit more, you know, less slutty in that regard. But I like how he was, you know, him and Dorfus were kind of like took Eugene on under their wing and everything, and they're not like bad people.
No, I don't think exactly. I don't think those characters as particularly bad people at all. I think like I think they're sort of like big brothery to him, you know.
Well, I also like how they're supposed to be, I guess, 18, because I think they just graduated high school like the year prior or something like that. I was like, oh, of course, the 80s, back when, 18-year-olds were played by 30-year-olds.
Yeah, I was going to say, those guys are on like the wrong side of 30. Like,
And my last critique, I mean, like, literally, you know, Zach and I talk about this all the time, and I just saw The Odyssey. Like, everyone is ripped. And so Jeff, he's kind of got an average body. It's like when his shirt's on, I'm like, okay, yeah. And then it's off, and I'm like, that wouldn't hold up in 2026. Like, you got to get you got to get those steroids in there. You know what I mean?
No, because back in the 80s, it was just like, hey, don't be fat.
Yeah,
like,
as long as you're not fat. Because if you're fat, you're flatulent. But if you're not fat, you can actually be hot.
Absolutely. It's like nowadays, everybody's like P90X and fucking like everyone's, you know, everyone's on the carnivore diet and everybody looks a certain way or whatever. Whereas in the 80s, it was just like, just eat a salad once a week. Like,
oh God. John Grease as King Vidiot, another Pad alumni. We talked about him in TerrorVision. Of course, everyone knows him as Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, but he is fantastic. As wooden as Scott McGinnis is how amazingly electric John Grease is in this.
Oh yeah. Oh, he has so much charisma. And it's funny because he's one of those actors that, you know, he's in Fright Night 2, which is one of my fiance's favorite movies. We have it on all the time. So he's in Fright Night 2, he's in Monster Squad, he's in but he's in one of mine and your co-host Zach's favorite movies. He's in Real Genius. Yeah. And, you know, so that's where I was introduced to John Grease growing up was Laszlo Holyfeld from Real Genius. So I've seen him play like sort of like understated roles, right? And this was one of the first roles where he was just swinging for the fences. Unleashed. Yeah. I mean, he's like, I'm like punk, new wave, and I'm riding around on a mini bike. Like,
yeah. Like, every scene with him is wild. Fantastic. And I love his like gang of Vidiots. It's a dance where they act like little Pac-Man characters or something. It's so good. Now, movie-wise, like as far as the story of this film goes, I'm also thrown off because in the scene he's introduced in, everyone seems to like him, but then they turn him heel, you know, to quote sort of a wrestling term. They make him bad by the end of the movie. Like he's sort of who they have to go up against video game wise. But the very first scene, like Dorfus is like, King Vidiot is here. Yay. Everyone's excited about it. They kind of like his character doesn't start bad. And I feel like halfway through writing the movie, they were like, we kind of need to make him the bad guy.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. This movie has a very rushed feel to it, writing wise.
I think it was shot like in 3 weeks as well. Like I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Okay. I feel like it is a very like it's almost like they kind of had one direction that they were going in, and then they were like, you know, like they decided they were gonna take it in a different direction. Which, I kind of wish that they would have, you know, gotten the Vidiots, you know, sort of like everybody band together. You know what I mean? It's just like Vidiots and preppies and nerds and everyone, and we're all gonna fight City Hall together. You know, like that to me, if we stayed on that track, right? But with like putting him into like he's in cahoots with Joe Don Baker, but then he like is in cahoots and then not in cahoots with him anymore.
He's like he's a force of nature. He's like chaos. He's like the trickster embodied.
Yes.
He actually, I mean, it actually is like a mythological sort of character that he sort of plays. But yeah, I kind of wish that maybe he had because even by the end, he doesn't sort of have a redemptive moment. But he's never quite bad. It's more of almost like a mercenary. He's kind of just being used, but willingly. He's like okay with it because his motivation is like, oh, if I do this for you, because Joe Don Baker's character is like, this rich businessman. He's like, oh, I just want an arcade game. I just want you to buy me an arcade game, and that's it.
I get my own arcade cabinet if I do this thing for you. Yeah.
It's pretty simple. And I'm not even wanting you to buy me an arcade. I just want one game. I just want you to spend like $6,000 and just buy me one game, and that's it.
Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, right. So again, the cast just keeps kind of going. Kareem Bower as Patsy Rudder, who Joe Don Baker's character's name is Mr. Rudder. So this is Patsy Rudder, his daughter. She is doing this very fun, stereotypical Valley Girl voice, but I'm not expecting it to be this sort of cliche on purpose. Like, I'm not sort of expecting this to be this tongue-in-cheek in 83. I would think it would have been more pushed forward in 85, 86 or something, because when did Valley Girl come out?
So Valley Girl came out, I believe it was 82, 83.
Okay.
I believe. When we did it on the show.
So this is a direct sort of play off of that. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't expecting it to be that prevalent so early in the 80s. Like, I figured you'd be making fun of it later in the 80s, but I love it. I love what she's doing.
Yeah, so the only other movie that I've seen where the accent is that pronounced like that is Hollywood Hot Tubs. Jewel Shepard's accent in that is annoying, to put it nicely. But she is 100% from Van Nuys, and she has this very exaggerated
oh, come on, daddy, like
over
stuff
the top. Like in comparison to what you would hear in the movie Valley Girl, for instance, whereas they kind of toned a lot of it down. Like there are some elements in Valley Girl where certain scenes like really play it up, but for the most part they talk fairly non-Valley most of the time. Say for a few, for sure's thrown in. But the like exaggerated accent like that, like I said, the only other place I've seen it is Hollywood Hot Tubs. And Kareem Borer is cool because she is, she's Bobcat Goldthwait's girlfriend in Police Academy 4. Is it 4? Citizens on Patrol.
Citizens on Patrol. Yeah, that was one I saw in the theater when I was a kid. I remember.
Yeah. And then she's also in this great like 80s another raunch fest really is Stewardess School.
Yes.
And she's great in that too. So yeah, dude, I dig her. I dig her a lot. I don't know what happened to her. Like I
follow her on Instagram. She's still like she posts. I think she still works to today.
Cool.
She seems like she's pretty cool. I got to give Joe Don Baker props when he was standing with her when she's in that nightgown and his arms around her. I'm sure they blocked it like that way, but he was like. He was doing his damn best to not like let his hand like touch her inappropriately, and I was like, nope. Joe Don Baker, you're a stand-up guy,
Good guy, yeah. He seems like he probably was. I don't think he has any kind of like reputation as being like, or had rather a reputation as being like a bad dude or something like that.
It was probably a difficult position to be in though, because she was.
Indeed,
I do like me gorgeous. Some. She's amazing. We get the nephews, the bumbling nephews of Mr. Ritter, Joe Don Baker's character. We get John Deal, who is another Pad alumni because he was the killer in Angel. And he's great in this. It's so funny to like watch him in Angel being so intense, so fucking crazy, and then watching him in this, and he's kind of bumbling. He's a little bit more of the straight man to John Volstad, who we'll talk about in a second, but like he's still funny, and that dude's got range for sure. I mean, there's a reason why he still is working up until today.
Oh no, he's fabulous. I love him on one of my favorite shows of all time. Let's call a spade a spade. My favorite show of all time, which is Miami Vice. And
Yeah.
so I have been exposed to John Deal's body of work for years. He's also great in another like kind of like kids gone wrong film called Mikey that came out in the 90s, where he plays the dad, like just sort of this like dumb cluck kind of character. Like, well, I don't know why my kid's so fucked up, you know. But he's so great in this because yeah, he is bumbling and he's got the hat on all the time, you know,
Yeah.
and then yeah, his buddy, I remember him from Stripes.
Yes, John Volstad is the other nephew. He was in Stripes. He was also did a couple episodes of Briscoe County Jr., which we discussed on TV Obscura. Space
Nice.
Above and Beyond, which we discussed on TV Obscura. But I think a lot of people might know him as one of the Darryl brothers on Newhart.
Newhart, yes, Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
Yep.
Yes.
He was quote unquote the second Daryl is what they
Second
called him.
Daryl,
He was he was
okay.
always the second one in the back and everything. This is probably the first time I've really like noticed him because Stripes was never a big one in my rotation as a kid, and I loved him in this. I thought he was fantastic.
Oh, I thought he's great, and I know that I know my fiance noticed him, was like I know that guy, and I was like I know him from Stripes, but when you mentioned Newhart, I was like that's probably where he knows him from.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've talked about on the show, like, I grew up watching a lot of, like, action movies, sci-fi, and horror. I didn't watch a lot of comedies, probably because my dad didn't watch a lot of comedies, and the ones that I did were kind of, like, John Candy, Chevy Chase stuff, you know? So stuff like this kind of went under the radar for me because this is also sort of a Skinemax movie, and I also didn't have cable. So I
Yeah.
didn't catch a lot of these, like, like the Stewardess School one, Ski School, all that kind of stuff, the Raunch-com movies. Like, I didn't
Yep.
see a lot of them as a kid.
Yeah, and we had cable, indeed. We were one of those first families on the block to have cable, and I used to have my friends over for slumber parties, and we were all about Cinemax Friday After Dark because
Yeah.
that was when you could watch like Lady Chatterley and movies like this would show up occasionally too, but for the most part, Cinemax was where it was at in the 80s as far as just seeing shit you weren't supposed to watch at like ages you weren't supposed to watch it.
Yeah, and you know, and then when I would go to the video store, I would just go right to the horror section, right to the action or sci-fi. So like I didn't even stop over here. So I don't even remember what the VHS cover looks like. I will say, you guys can see in the show notes, the movie poster for this is fantastic. It's actually
so
hand
colorful.
painted. Yeah, it's wonderful. I love it. But yeah, anyways, he's great, and then we have some interesting people to sort of round it. That's probably you can talk a little bit more about them, like Becky LeBeau. This is her film debut.
This is Miss Becky LeBeau's film debut. She went on to do oh my god, wow. Okay. Not of This Earth, Sins of Desire. Pretty much if Wynorski had his toe, if Jim Wynorski had his toe in it in the 80s and 90s, Miss LeBeau was popping up somewhere in that film, whether it was cameo or main. She's cool. She's a very talented singer. A lot of people don't know that. She owned her own company called Soft Bodies. Back in the pay-per-view days, kids, there was this whole series of videos that you could purchase that online really
What?
no on the cable
on the actual
cable,
TV.
on the TV you could purchase Soft Bodies, and it was basically women with natural breasts. It was her, Danny from Danny's Hard Drive, and a couple other
Danny Ash, right?
Danny Ash, yes, Danny Ash,
one of my all-time favorites.
Julia Parton was one of them, and yeah, and these. Thank you, honey. And these were all just like vignettes of women just taking their clothes off and posing. There was nothing necessarily like pornographic or tawdry about it necessarily. It was just naked. It was just nakedness, and you could purchase these videos to watch basically. But she was the CEO of that company for the longest time.
Good for her.
So yeah,
she's that's awesome.
Yeah, she's cool. She's really cool.
One of my favorites, Kim Malin. by favorites, I mean my favorite looking one. But she was in Die Hard, Roadhouse, Weird Science, and then a lot of Andy Sedaris movies. By the way, guys and gals, when Zach and I reviewed Hard Ticket to Hawaii, it was because of Erin, so thank you for that. But yeah, she was in a lot of Andy Sedaris movies, and I need to watch more Andy Sedaris movies.
Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. I love the Sedaris verse. I love the fact that people come back as different characters. Like, I love that the same actor will appear in a movie like right after that one, and it'll be playing someone totally different. Like, they'll be playing like a bad guy or a bad girl. Like, I do dig that. Love the fact that all those movies were self-funded. I think that's fantastic. And he's a Florida boy, so of course, after my own heart. But I do love the, we're female secret agents, and we just got to get topless. That's what we got to do. We got to let's hit the jacuzzi. High five, No, I am a huge Sedaris fan. I love a lot of those. Yeah.
Well, my understanding, though, is that Hard Ticket to Hawaii is the gold standard of the Andy Sedaris films. So it's kind of hard to be like, well, that's the one I've already seen. It's kind of hard to go. And I do have, I think, Picasso Trigger. I think I have that one on Blu-ray, too. It was back when I was buying a bunch of movies when I still had dead dad money. And I was like, oh, get it. And all those posters also look fantastic as well.
Yeah, those posters are gorgeous. It's funny because I know you had given me choices of movies, and one of the choices was Malibu Express.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah,
I was sitting there going, I'm like, it's kind of clunky. I'm like, I don't know if I could muster up the excitement for Malibu Express as I did for Joysticks. Like, I could kind of get super excited about the actors and about the colorful 80s-ness of it, whereas Malibu Express, it's like, I could probably count on like one hand the things I like in it, and the rest of it is just kind of like, it's very, it is. And that's the problem with a lot of Sedaris movies, is that there's like 3 or 4 really good set pieces, and lots of titties, but there's a lot of clunkiness. Like, there's a lot of moments where you're just like, I'm
glad you chose Joysticks. One last person for me, and then if there's anybody else you want to bring up, Morgan Lofting. She plays Mrs. Rudder. Holy shit, she's the voice of Baroness on G.I. Joe.
Right? I said that out loud. I was going down her IMDb thing, and of course, my fiance follows all of the old 80s cartoons. Like, we usually have Transformers on in the background or something with G.I. Joe. And I said to him, I said, honey, how familiar are you with the G.I. Joe voices? And he's like, very. And I said, the Baroness, does that ring any bells? And he was like, oh my God, the Baroness. And I said, that's the chick in the bed. And he's like, oh my God. Yeah, so.
And I can't hear the Baroness in her voice when she's talking. Maybe at the end where her and Eugene are about to get it on, she's got the whip. She has just a touch of Baroness there, but hey, she's talented. I mean, the Baroness is a wholly unique, voice. A lot of times voice actors, like, they might be known for a character and it's just their voice. It's just, how they normally sound. That's a character. Yeah. The Baroness is just a character.
That's what he said. He said the Baroness has like a really strong, like, German kind of accent. Yeah. So, yeah, did not sound like her in the movie.
No, not at all. I mean, but you said there are a ton of other, like, playmates and other, nudie models in it, pretty much, and then a bunch of character actors. But anybody else you want to call out that jumps out to you?
Not really. I mean, the director, if we want to get in, if you want to jump into that, like, Greydon Clark directed one of my, when I want to say so bad it's good, or however you want to put it, but movies that I love to watch stoned, sure. And one of them is The Uninvited, which is about a killer cat that gets loose on a cruise ship, on a yacht, and just and it's not even just a cat, it's like a cat within a cat. There's like a cat inside the cat.
I know the cover so
much.
Yes,
you do.
And Clu Gulager is in it, George Kennedy's in it, and
yes.
George Kennedy's great, by the way. If you haven't seen Demon Warp, go check that out. But like, so when Robert Ortiz had us review The Hidden, I thought I was going to be watching The Uninvited. So halfway through that movie, I was like, where's the cat? Where's the
Where's the
cat in this? Because I'd never seen either of them before. So I was like, where's the fucking cat that's on the cover? I'm like, oh, no, this is the hidden. The uninvited is different.
Right. Yes. Yes. The uninvited is different. Yeah. So because he did that, and he also did Without Warning, which I think is like a 1980s. I'm trying to think of who's in it. It's like a
Yeah.
lot of older actors like Martin Landau and
Jack
Jack
Palance is
Palance,
in it. Yeah.
you know.
Well, Kevin Peter Hall plays the alien monster creature in it because he's so tall.
Because he's so
Yeah.
tall. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
And,
David Caruso is in that movie.
That's funny. Oh God, he must have been so young in that. But yeah, he also did like Satan's Cheerleaders and some some like biker movies like Hell's Bloody Devils and stuff like that. So I didn't understand how he got into this sort of thing. Like I could kind of understand if he had done another titty flick, like if he had done like Malibu High or Beach Girls or one of those other, ones that came out in the same time period. But he just thought like, hey, I've seen these group of people standing in line to go play video games. Like maybe that's something we can mine there,
Well, it's like, I guess he always figures, like, am I doing this just to fund, just so he can fund, like, his next film type of thing? Like, is this his, just his cash in, like, type of thing?
Yeah.
Which is fine, like, Francis Ford Coppola always does that. He'll do, like, 2 or 3 studio films so he can do his one movie that will bomb and make no money whatsoever, but it's his passion project. I got no problems if directors, like, are doing stuff just for the studio or just because they think it's a cash in, especially when it turns out to be as awesome as this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think, I mean, like, he has such a wide oeuvre of film. I mean, in 1990 he did The Forbidden Dance, which was back when in 1990, kids, there was this wild dance craze that was sweeping the nation, and it was called the lambada. So, unfortunately, we had 2 lambada movies. We had a movie that was just called Lambada, and then we had a movie that was called The Forbidden Dance. And I believe The Forbidden Dance is the one where it was like, we gotta save money to save we gotta raise money to save the rainforest.
Oh my God. Wow.
And like Kid Creole and the coconuts showed up. Like it's a movie. But yeah, that was his. He did The Forbidden Dance, and then some other poor schlub did Lambada. But that's the only. I think that's like the last movie that where Greydon Clark was like on my, whatever you want to call it, radar.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen the one with Kevin Peter Hall. What was that one just called?
Oh, Without Warning?
Without Warning,
No,
yeah.
I've never
I need to watch Without Warning, but I think I'll prioritize The Uninvited since you give that one such, high.
Oh, that is especially, you and I and the Devil's Lettuce. It is hilarious. I mean, from jump too. It's not like, it doesn't like have clunky moments in it. It has like, what did they, why, oh, this is good, yeah.
Oh, I love it. And let's talk about the music that's in this, the soundtrack songs, by a band called Legion. But the Joysticks and everything like that.
Yeah, the Joysticks song is full of so much sexual innuendo.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's everything. It's perfect.
It's like jerk it right.
Yeah, jerk it left.
Yeah,
do the video,
The video. It's but the music is really fun. So like anytime they bring this band, out from the shadows to play the soundtrack, it's always like very upbeat. It's a fun little soundtrack actually. And I don't know jack about Legion.
No.
I don't know if this was a band that was created for this particular movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's they were composed by Ray Konetsky. Ray Konetsky. And it's the songs were performed by the band Legion. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe they were a put together session band just for these songs and they don't exist outside of this. There is another Joysticks song out there by Daz Band that's pretty good. But yeah, the one you're looking for if you want to hear it, like it's sort of the main theme for the movie. It's called Joysticks. Look up the one by Legion, not by Daz Band.
Yeah, and even when we slow things down and we hear the sort of Joysticks love theme, it's the same, it's the same, like, okay, now we're gonna do a power ballad for all the lovers out there, and it's cool.
It's
I
great.
dig it.
It's
I
fantastic.
dig it. It kind of reminds me of, as much as I loathe this movie and all of its stars, it reminds me of Zapped, because Zapped is one of those movies that has, the theme, right? It has its theme song to it. Then it has like its sort of medium-sized theme song, which is like for like all the montage type stuff, and then it has its love theme. And so, but it's by the same dude every time. So if you're gonna come up with one redeeming quality for Zapped, it's the soundtrack, guys.
And I do love movies where someone makes songs that go so hard that but they're made just for that movie, kind of like Silent Night Deadly Night with Warm Side of the Door, which is literally in my Christmas rotation. Every year my mom's like, oh, this song, I love this song, what's it from? And I'm like, Silent Night Deadly Night, bitch. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like but that's
Mother Superior.
Your Mother Superior, but like
That's
it's
true.
crazy. The people do, and I have read online, people do really like the soundtrack for this movie, so I highly recommend checking it out. The writers, kind of just writer. I didn't really notice anything particular from them, and the cinematographer kind of just worked with the director a lot. So everything you talked about there is kind of same thing. So
Yeah, I noticed that two of the guys from the city council scene are the writers of the movie.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Put them in there,
They just look like middle-aged white guys.
Middle-aged white guys, exactly. Yeah. So, all right, before we continue sort of the general discussion, let's roll the trailer for Joysticks.
I like fun just as much as the next guy, but it's my first day at the arcade.
You work at the video arcade?
He refuses to close that horrible video arcade.
Daddy, would you like to get out of my way, okay?
I am laying down the law about that arcade, young lady.
I don't want the police to know anything about this, but I got an idea.
If I want to go to the arcade, like, I am going to go.
Wiggle left, jerk it right, sucking everything inside. Shit, if you want to get out safely, you better act now. You understand? Down to the door.
I want you out of here, Rudder. Private gathering.
Joystick. Video. Joystick. Please let me have a corner. Video. Joystick. I got to have a corner. Totally awesome video game.
We're in the middle of a spontaneous demonstration to close down the arcade.
Like some revenge.
All day, all night. Video to the max.
From right here in River City, Bailey's Video Arcade. All right. I came here as a shocked parent, a concerned parent who cares very deeply about all the children of this community. What takes place here day after day stands as a testament to the rotting moral decay of our society.
Rudder was determined to close us down from the moment he walked into this place. The man's a true asshole.
Arcade. My only place to go. I go playing.
Let's be fun, my God! Crazy and crazy!
Totally awesome video game.
Sticks are a hotbed of germs.
Totally awesome video game.
Hi.
All right, Erin. So the movie starts with the credits being played over a bunch of video games. And I have a list of the video games here, and I want to see if you played any of them back in the day. So let me pull this up really quick. Okay, here we go. So we see Pole Position, Moon Patrol, Gorf, Naughty Boy, Miss Pac-Man, Defender 2, Stargate, Millipede, Pooyan, Scramble, Jungle King, Frontline, and then Pole Position again at the end. Apparently, the game the woman is playing very vigorously, clearly has never played a video game before in her life, is called Solar Fox. I can say I've probably played about 5 of these games. Do any of them sort of jump to mind to you?
So I played Millipede.
Yeah.
I played Miss Pac-Man.
Of course.
I played. I feel like I played the Stargate one, because if that's the one with the little aliens that are coming down in the row, there's little aliens, and they all they're all in one row, and
almost
then
like
a
a
row.
Galaga-esque type of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That would be the other one, and yeah, that's kind of it. Actually, I was not an arcade kid per se. When the Nintendo came out, I was probably 7 or 8, I think. And my grandparents bought me a Nintendo. So we could only play it at grandma's house, because heaven forbid we should bring that kind of nonsense into the house. And we were obsessed, and I was a Nintendo freak. The greatest day of my 9 or 10-year-old life was when my grandmother surprised me with a giant box of every back issue of Nintendo Power that ever existed.
Oh, yeah.
It just showed up at the door, and I opened it, and it was every single issue going all the way back to the first issue. Now, did I keep any of them? Of course not. I'm 46. I think, whatever, not important. But at the time, I had every strategy guide. I had every issue. That was my whole identity at that point. It was just, I loved Nintendo. I now have a Nintendo Classic, which has I don't know, 30 games on it or whatever. But, I still say it's not the same. It's not the same as it was when you got your little cartridge and you blew on it and you put it in, it was different. It was different. Or how excited it was when Mario 3 came out, and you knew
hyped for that and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So no. So that was my dirty little secret from my from my younger years is, yes, I was a huge Nintendo nerd.
Well, did you have an arcade that you went to occasionally?
Yes.
Was there one in the area? Was it attached to a putt-putt or,
Absolutely. Papa Louie's Pizza House on Henderson Boulevard in South Tampa, where I grew up. And that was the only arcade that we had in our tiny little town. And it had this, so it's the front of the house was the pizza, which was good fucking pizza. It was very sad when that place closed. And then the back of the house was nothing but arcade cabinets. It was just, you could, and pinball, they had a lot of that too. So,
Did you have a favorite that you played at Papa Luigi's,
Pac-Man.
whatever it was?
Yeah, Papa Louie's Pizza House. Damn, man. Bringing me back, bro. But yes, that was, it was definitely Miss Pac-Man. I loved Miss Pac-Man.
Okay. Yeah, you and I have similar sort of experiences with arcades. I don't know if it's just, not being the richest kid in the world, I didn't have a bunch of quarters to go play them with, so I was much more of a console gamer at home. I had an Atari 2600, and then I got the Nintendo, and I used to play the hell out of River Raid on Atari 2600 and whatnot. And then the Nintendo was amazing. I mean, I did go to the arcade occasionally as a kid. My favorite one back in the 80s was attached to a putt-putt. And I loved Operation Wolf, the game that had the Uzi, you could shoot at the screen and everything. But I think what I remember the most about that place is the smell of it, because it's carpeted, and so all the carpet would always be sticky, and it just had this smell of plastic plus coins plus sweat and BO, and then combined with whatever spilled drink and popcorn and sort of hot dogs and things like that. It just combines to this very specific smell that when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, I can smell that arcade. I know what it smells like.
Absolutely. I get it. Totally get it. Yes, absolutely. It's funny that we brought this up because, like, I haven't thought about Papa Louie's in fucking, years. Like, my mother just moved to South Tampa, and it's very sad when I drive around and I'm like, that used to be a place I went. That used to be a place I went. And they're all turned into, like, shopping, fancy boutiques and shit like that. So, it's like I remember where things were, like I remember where the record store was. I remember where the pizza house was. It's like I could still remember that. They're gone. Everything's gone.
You remember where the fields were. Now they're, housing complexes and everything like that.
I know. I think one of my softball fields is still there. I think the rest of them have been paved over, and my school doesn't even look like my school anymore. It looks like some kind of like weird compound. Like, it's very strange.
Yeah, my high school is the same way. It's like, it's weirdly big now, and it's like, it's turned into like almost like an office park or something, and I'm like, that doesn't look fun at all. Like, that's crazy. But at least there's no portables there anymore like there used to be.
Oh yeah, oh god, I remember when that happened. Yeah, so it's interesting because this movie really did bring me back. Like, it did bring me back to that. And every night I kind of like sit and I look over at the Nintendo and I'm like, man, we should play that tonight, and then it just, fucking weed brains just over my head completely.
But I know you and we're close to the same age. I think I just found out on the Gotcha episode. I think I'm the same age as Hillary. I'm 48.
Okay, yeah, you are indeed a biscuit older than me. Yes.
Yes. She must have been born in 78, same as me. And so we were kids. You, me, and Hillary, we were kids back in the day. Zach was too. I don't remember going to the arcade and seeing this many older people and also this many attractive people. All I remember from arcades are young kids and uggos. Like, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I remember a lot of members only jackets.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
A lot of members only jackets. That's the thing I remember probably the most about the arcades. I don't remember women, especially not Playboy Playmates, just hanging out, waiting down to fuck, like that wasn't, really
and I could understand, like, this is where we're hanging out, but I can't picture women that attractive being into the games, like actually playing the game. I could understand, like, if they're like, okay, they're there with their boyfriends. It's never and this is sexist, but to me, I never saw it as a thing that, like, women were into. I always thought it was a guy thing, and nope. I don't know, but it definitely seemed like not accurate to me.
Oh no, I don't think there was anything. I think this movie was written by middle-aged men who were like, what if we lived in a world where a bunch of nerdy, ne'er-do-well guys inhabited an arcade, and it was just filled with solid tens,
everywhere, and they're everywhere. Hanging out everywhere, figuratively and literally,
and hot tubs,
and their like, vans, hot tub in a van.
I thought when I saw the hot tub in the van, my first thought was that horrible that show that was on MTV back in the day called Pimp My Ride.
Yeah.
And there was an episode where this poor bastard had a van, and they went in there and they put a jacuzzi in the back of the van, and they did all of this like plumbing stuff and whatever. And then I think they did like a Where Are They Now with him, and he was just like, yeah, it's like I couldn't afford to keep this
to
going.
Maintain it, yeah, because like you'd have to clean it out and everything, and it's just like, and I think this van had like carpet in it, and I'm like, that's got to be disgusting. Like, literally, I'm watching this as 48-year-old, and I'm like, this is disgusting, because if I was a kid and I had that, I would never clean. Oh, you got to clean a hot tub? Really? I don't know anything about that. That thing is full of germs.
Oh my god. Especially with all the apparently like swinging sexing that's going on inside that van. Like,
And the water sloshing up on the carpet, getting it all nasty and everything. Yeah, that was wild. Also wild is the fact that this takes place in like the fictitious town of like River City, and I was like, oh, you don't find that out until like halfway through it. I just thought it was L.A. I was like, oh, it's just like a little like because it's clearly shot in L.A. Like I'm like, oh, cool, And
that's why I say that this was written by a middle-aged older gentleman, is because River City is the location in The Music Man. And so there's a line from The Music Man, which is, folks, we got trouble in River City. And then they go into the song. And so when the mayor, when Joe Don Baker gets up and he's talking, he says, folks, we have trouble in River. And I literally said the line as he said it. I was like, trouble in River City. And he did. I'm like, okay, someone's a Broadway nerd.
Wow.
The director or the writer or one of the elder gentlemen, that's a fucking old reference.
Wow. And the funny thing is, the whole time I'm thinking of is River City Ransom, which was a Nintendo game that was like a brawler type of thing.
Yes, River City Ransom. Yes, I remember. It's right next to The Adventures of Bayou Billy.
Bayou Billy, yes, I had Adventures of Bayou Billy.
Oh my goodness.
So that's what I thought of immediately. I was like, oh, River City Ransom, but I don't even think that game was probably even out by that point. I was like, holy shit. But I do have an affinity for movies that are supposed to take place in small towns, but yeah, they sometimes can't hide the fact that it's like filmed in LA, especially when King Vidiots and his girls are riding the little and it's clearly like Wilcox Avenue or something because it's like facing the Hollywood sign and everything. I'm like, I know where that is,
I was like, are they in Griffith Park right now? Yeah, no, I know. That's it's pretty obvious with the
King Vidiot. I love his energy in this movie is very much I don't remember the last time you've seen the Toxic Avenger, but one of the two bad guys, Bozo. He's very Bozo 100%. Energy in this.
Yes, very, very. Yes, that's exactly. It's funny because I was trying to picture who he reminded me of, and that is literally the dude. That's absolutely the dude. It reminds me of the guy from Toxic Avenger. Yes, it does.
So that's an 80s, archetype. Do you think anyone like that ever existed?
No.
But it had to come from somewhere,
Well, it's funny because Gotcha has this scene where Anthony Edwards, he has to like stow away to try to get back into the United States. And he stows away with like this group of like new wave. Like I said punk rock, and of course Hillary was like, no, those are new wavers.
Yeah.
These like new wave people who look exactly like the Vidiots. They have the same everything going on. They all look like they're in a Gary Newman video, and Desperately Seeking Susan has the same aesthetic, right? So I was thinking, I'm like, maybe they existed in like a place that I didn't grow up in, like.
Yeah, no, maybe. I know what you mean. A movie called Remote Control by Jeff Lieberman.
My God.
Has some really good new wave. That's from 1988. So it has some really good new wave fashion in it. I honestly didn't, again, I did grow up in the 80s, but I'm so young that I'm not aware of things. I thought New Wave was closer to 88 than it was to 83. And obviously it does evolve over time, but not going to lie, I was not expecting it in 1983.
Now, okay, so now we have to look this up. When did Cars by Gary Newman come out? Because Cars, Kids in America, and anything in that time period. Okay, when did
Cars by Gary Newman came out in 1979.
Oh fuck. Okay, so he was bringing it.
I was not expecting that either.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. Well then, okay, so Duran Duran, Seven and the Ragged Tiger, is that what, 83, 82, 83, something like that? That would be they're a new wave band. So, yeah. I don't know. And then that's the thing, is there was like new wave, and then there was the new romantics, and there was all these different type.
Well, yeah,
band types. But I guess.
So maybe it was all throughout the 80s and like new wave just kind of, but you always think of like the fashion, especially when it has like a title like that. It's only around for a short amount of time, but I guess the new wave fashion was longer. Maybe it was almost the entirety of the 80s.
Yeah, because Jeff wears a skinny tie. That's the first thing that I noticed when I saw Jeff was I was like, oh, he's got a skinny tie on. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're like getting into the new wave kind of thing. And see, he's in another movie. Now that I'm just remembering it. Now, granted, he plays a preppy in a Judd Nelson classic, Making the Grade.
Yeah.
And he's in that too. He plays like a doofus. He plays like a, Muffy.
Does he play a Dorfus?
No, he plays. no one can play Dorfus like Dorfus. That's not a thing. But no, Scott McGinnis plays in Making the Grade, a movie I have not seen literally since I was 5 years old.
Okay.
So,
and while you were talking, I just did a quick Google search, and new wave is considered late 70s into the 80s. So I think it lasted a while, and again, it probably had. It went through evolutions because, like, in Remote Control, they don't look exactly the same. Like, in this movie, they look a little bit lean, a little bit more punk. But I think with all the colors and the facial stuff, like, it's still considered, new wave and everything. But yeah, I always love that stuff. And yeah, guys and gals, if you haven't checked out Remote Control, definitely go watch Remote Control. That's
a
great.
wild one. That's a fun one. Like, that's a weird, almost my idea of a dystopian, right? Like my idea of like the future when shit's just off and weird and stuff. I love, I like that movie a lot. I wish that was streaming somewhere.
It's hard to find. You can actually pick it up at Jeff Lieberman's website. You can pick up the Blu-ray there. I think there was like a rights issue, and he just like was like, I'll take them. Like I think he just has the rights to it now. But if you order from him, he will sign the copy for you. Like you're literally ordering it from the director Jeff Lieberman. Zach and I interviewed him, I think last year. He's definitely he's an interesting guy for sure. And if you haven't seen Blue Sunshine, that movie is fucking fantastic.
Well, damn. Okay, I'm going to his website and I'm going to order it directly from him. I always loved directly from the artist 100%. So the fact that I can do that, thank you very much for letting me know.
Of course. Yeah, I think it's just like jefflieberman.com or whatever. You can find it easily. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is, well, and it's also a little bit problematic, so let's discuss that. When Dorfus and Eugene sneak into the house, of Mr. Rudder, and his wife, I guess she's just on Valium or just like on like sleeping meds or something, because she's like incapacitated. Dorfus is trying to encourage Eugene to have sex with her because she's asleep, but then at the same time she wants it, and I'm not saying she wants, like, her sleeping self wants it. I'm not trying to defend it. You get what I'm saying.
I love the fact that, and I said this out loud when I was watching it, because Eugene says, he's like, I don't want it like this. That's how he put it,
like,
right?
No, not like this.
And I said, because Eugene has a soul.
That's Dorfus, his soul is gas. It's just flatulence. That's all his soul is.
It's just farts. It's farts as far as the eye can see, so to speak.
But Joe Don Baker comes home, and his wife, because I think the room is supposed to be so dark that he can't see, but of course it's not lit like that. Like we have to be able to see. But he gets in bed with Eugene, and his wife's trying to have sex with Eugene, and it's only like a double bed. Like it's not even like a queen or anything like that. So like Eugene is right up next to Joe Don Baker. But then Dorfus is stuck in the closet, and he's trying to escape. And when he does escape, he lets out a big fart. And then Joe Don Baker thinks his wife is farting. Like, it keeps going into realms that I'm like, how is this going to end? And how are they going to get out of it? And they get out of it by Dorfus kind of sort of running interference in the front of the house, so Eugene can escape from the second story ladder, but the ladder's has fallen down. So he has to escape off like the front, whatever that little awning is over the front door. But that's exactly where Joe Don Baker's talking. So I'm like, how is this going to happen? Like, oh no, you're just kind of Eugene coming off the roof while Joe Don Baker's talking, while Dorfus is talking. Dorfus is great. This is my favorite Dorfus scene. He's hilarious. But every moment of this scene, and it goes on for kind of a long time. It's probably one of the longer singular, but I never know where the hell it's going to go.
Nope. And in fact, that's what we said when we were watching it. We're like, I don't know where this is gonna go. Like, that's what we said. We were like, I don't know. Like, I kind of thought it was gonna go this way, and then it went this way, and then, I mean, the same thing can be said for the battle, the arcade battle between Vidiot and Dorfus. As Dorfus is eating this chili dog, I had a whole other plot point planned when that happened. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, he's going to eat the chili dog, and then he's going to bend over, he's going to fart, and it's going to distract Vidiot, and then Vidiot's going to lose it, and he can't finish the game, so then he forfeits. But none of that happened.
No,
Dorfus just ate. He ate the chili dog for no reason other than to eat the chili dog.
Right, and to like, he lost 2 of his 3 men, and even King Vidiot like racked up a decent score, but then Dorfus on his last man gets into his zone because, as Eugene says, playing video games is like breathing to us. For Dorfus, it's a life experience. He just doesn't think, he just does it. And again, I love the facial expressions he's making when he's playing it, but I'm with you. I'm like, what is going on in this scene? Like, what is really happening right here? Again, it's all just to sort of build up the fact that Dorfus is like this idiot savant, this gaseous, idiot savant when it comes to video games. But it ultimately doesn't pay off in the end because he's supposed to again go against, King Vidiot, but they sort of capture him. The bad guys, kidnap him. And then, the Baroness wants to have sex with him. It's really, really weird. That poor lady. I mean, how did she read that script and be like, yeah, I'll take this role. I'll take this role. She is awoken from her coma. She is aroused erotically from her coma by his flatulence. So she's like, a man is in this house, a real man, because he farts. He's a real man.
Right. He farts, and that is like her siren song.
Yes.
And she comes out, and then she just wants to like have sex with him because he's so virile, I guess. Hey man, okay, here's the thing. I'm not like a weight person. Like, I don't care if you're heavy, skinny, whatever. If I'm into you, I'm into you. I don't have any kind of like preference in that department. But even Dorfus, like, I was like, yeah, I don't.
He's a bit rotund. He's a bit rotund.
Yeah, I can't. I was like, I could kind of deal with the sort of Belushi body, I'm like, but the farting and he looks like he needs a shower. Like, really bad.
They keep him in the same clothes over the course of this entire movie.
His hair gets greasy.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I'm sure he cleans. I'm sure the actor cleans up fine, but they don't do that in here. They don't ever give him that moment where he cleans up.
No, they don't. And I didn't have a connection to Jeff's character like I did with Nelson in Spring Break. Like, Spring Break has the same sort of like nerdy guy, not nerdy guy, all those, and they've got to do whatever. That movie is also like a series of vignettes. It's like a series of like, hey, like, what kind of stuff do we imagine happens on someone's spring break in 1983, right? Yeah. So it has all those, but that character in that movie of Nelson, you're like, I want Nelson to get the girl. Like, I want him to figure out her name so he can go and find her in a crowd, right? But like this movie, when Jeff gets reunited with can't think of her name.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. She's kind of a non-entity the entire movie because you don't find out about her until the last like 20 minutes.
No, you get a sort of interesting full frontal on her with the flashback, but then that's it, and then she pops up at the end. So when he gets her, it's like, like I wasn't like, I was really rooting for you, buddy. Like I just no, that plot was so underdeveloped throughout the movie that it made me not kind of care about that character. But I did care about Eugene. Like, I thought Eugene was like, like, especially the scene when you brought it up, the scene where there's this imagined view of what the arcade is supposed to be like, which is essentially this like S&M swingers party, mud wrestling kind of thing. His whole demeanor and the way he speaks and the way he like does his whole master of ceremonies thing. He's so good.
Yeah.
Like he's so good that you're
he
like,
has a total glow up in that little scene, and
Yeah.
it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like sort of the bad version or whatever, but he's fantastic, and it just goes to show he's a good actor because the Eugene character is really nerdy. I'm with you. I mean, the movie isn't perfect, but you're not also sort of watching it for these like plot points. Like honestly,
No.
I honestly like the vignettes are some of my favorite, and I say for the comedy movies, bring back the 40% vignette film, where it's just vignettes.
Yeah, like Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
Is like that, where you have all these different little things. One Crazy Summer is like that, where we have all these like little crazy things that happen. Like I do dig that. Those were fun because it had to have been so much fun for like Savage Steve Holland or obviously Greydon Clark to sit down and like, be like, oh, I wonder what would come up next. Like that probably was a lot of fun as a screenwriter.
Yeah. No, there are so many enjoyable things about this film. It's not, the story is not what I'm watching it for. It's not what I'm going to go back for. I'm going to go back for like weird things like Jeff's office. Like it's so sleazy, but at the same time, it kind of falls into this category of this running thing that Zach and I talk about is we love 80s movies apartments.
Yes,
you see all,
or 80s movies bedrooms.
Yeah, like all that. I love seeing all that stuff. Like her Lucinda Dickey's apartment in Ninja 3: The Domination. Like I love seeing all these weird, like, or I think even Jack Death's apartment in Trancers. Like all these interesting like LA apartments and stuff like that. Especially if they're in downtown LA, like how we see in like Vice Squad and stuff like that. Wings Hauser's place I think was like that in there.
Yep.
But like and even in Repo Man, we see a cool one as well, like sort of a downtown loft LA apartment. And this sort of falls into that category. It's probably more of close to the same size as was Zap from Skin Deep, her apartment that's sort of in the back of the aerobics, area. It's sort of like that size, but his is the sleaziest version you could possibly have. Every inch of it is boobs.
Boobs.
That one picture, it's a frame picture behind, like on the main back wall of a woman's breasts in like a bikini top, but one breast is covered and the other one is like has like a 25% nip slip, and I'm just like, that's really sleazy that's your picture. But I'm also like, but like little kid in me is like, it's really fucking hot though. Like I love, like this is what an office would be if I was that age. I was 17 or 18 years old, given a manager's money, to decorate my office, and my grandfather just owns the place, and he's never going back there. That's what it would fucking look like if it was me.
Yeah. No, agreed. I know. That's like in Just One of the Guys, Buddy's room is just a wall to wall, to the point that when that film aired on like TBS or TNT, they couldn't cut the scene, so they just blurred out. So the background is just nothing but blurry, weird bodies on the wall.
Back in the day, they had to sometimes film alternate takes of things. I think they talk about that in Return of the Living Dead, the original, with his jacket. They had to use different versions of the jacket and everything.
Yeah, because because it said "fuck you" on the one, and then it said TV edit or TV version on the other.
Yeah, which is fun if you're doing a joke, but sometimes you got to be like, why don't you just make it easy on yourself and just have it not say "fuck you" on it,
Like, yeah.
But yeah, that office is crazy. I very much enjoyed this movie. Are there any other scenes that stand out to you that you liked?
No, I just, overall, the movie is just fun. It's just a fun movie, and it's very silly. And in the grand scheme of raunch-coms, it's not the most problematic thing I've seen. So I'll give you that. Like sometimes it's hard for me to watch some of the old 80s stuff and just be like, oh, I try very hard to do like what you and Zach have done for many, many years, which is just like, okay, consider the time period and the time in which this came out, and it's of its time. And so, this is very tame by a lot of those standards.
Remarkably, even with all the nudity that's in it, it's actually kind of tame in some regards.
I mean, really, compared to a movie like, say, Zapped or any other Scott Baio whatever movie, but really, Zapped, guys.
Yeah.
Compared to something like that, the women in the film seem to be they seem to be very enthusiastic about their sexual choices. You know, there's nobody's like, oh no, I don't want to. You know, I mean, even like you've watched like an old James Bond movie, like an old like Sean Connery level James Bond movie, you always have some horrible scene where the girl is like, oh no, Mr. Bond, and he's like, oh yes, and the door slams and that's all you see, and you're like, oh dear God, you know. So this movie thankfully does not have any of those scenes.
Because even though it's sleazy, the women it does seem to be like on their terms, like they're involved in it, like they're not being aside, and even like the Baroness, like. It's weird, but the movie portrays like she just wants to get laid so bad that it's even in her dreams that's happening. Now that doesn't mean that Eugene should do anything with her, but it's nice that they make it so that Eugene doesn't do anything with her until she's wide awake. Until
she's wide awake and very much in charge of herself sexually, and she's got a whip and she's ready to Ilsa it up, you know? So yeah, I give this movie credit for that because it doesn't have any like scenes where it felt like the women were particularly being exploited like in that way, you know.
Right.
I mean, the 80s was a very titty flick kind of time. I mean, it just was, you know, like Porky's Revenge, all of those, you know. A lot of boobs, you know, occasionally a bush if you were lucky, but the most part, that was just kind of part of that.
Very few dongers, unfortunately.
No, unless you count the original Porky's, it's just wangs as far as the eye can see. Because those Canadians, they know good cinema. But
we also do get an 80s sort of stereotypical like cross-dressing scene with John Volstadt's character.
But
it's funny because he really enjoys the attention that he gets from it. It kind of plays well because King Vidiot's really into him, and he's like, oh, you know.
Like, and then later on, he just goes, do you have a sister?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. The other thing about it is there also wasn't a lot of like racist, homophobic, the stuff that a lot of kind of just gets into a lot of 80s movies, even like Teen Wolf and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We we get a lot of that. There was none of that either. So it's and I did notice quite a few men of color in the arcade scene. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That was also like, you watch any John Hughes movie, it's like, dear God, you know, like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no women of color though in the movie at all.
No women of color. You are absolutely right. There were no women of color in this film at all. It was a very Playboy Playmate circa 82, 83. A lot of feathered blonde hair and a lot of Dorothy Hamill page boycott. Yeah, there was a fair amount of that. But overall, fun watch, good soundtrack, great fashion. I love LA in the 80s. That's my icing for me. I love any film in the 80s that takes place in Los Angeles. I love that so much. So
yeah, me too. Even though this is River City Ransom, clearly it's LA. I'm with you. This was great. I'm so glad we watched. I'm so glad I had a reason to bust out my Blu-ray that I've owned for like a year and a half. I'm really happy that you picked this, and I'm happy that I got a chance to talk to you about it. It's great to have your perspective on things. And, you know, I know that like Zach and I, we try to, say, oh, okay, it was of a certain time and everything. But one of the reasons I love listening to Manic Movie Monday podcast is to get another take on things, another point of view that I don't have. I'm a male, but it's nice to have the other point of view as well for for like a similar ilk of film and everything, you guys cover a lot of the same stuff we cover, or at least the same, orbit and everything, a lot of same genres, a lot of same time periods and stuff. So guys and gals, if you listen to Podcasting After Dark, you gotta be listening to Manic Movie Monday as well. It's a must listen. And I know like people like Robert Ortiz, support both shows and everything. And yeah, those are the real heroes in this world nowadays,
He's such a doll. Him and my fiance actually text each other back and forth when they buy new toys. Like they take pictures of action figures and they're like, "Look what I got." So.
I'm currently reading his book right now, so I was reading it by the pool and everything. It's a lot of fun.
He's so cool. He's really cool.
Great guy. So yeah, where can everybody find the show out there?
So, as long as we still have an Instagram page, you can find us on Instagram. Our show is featured on Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Music, whatever they're calling it today, Amazon Music, and wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. And we're still on Spotify until they cancel us because I keep getting these notices saying that I'm not allowed to use the theme song, where in fact the theme song is actually in the public domain. So I have to keep responding every single time I get it. So I'm assuming there's going to be a day where Spotify is just like, they just completely get rid of us, and that's fine because fuck Spotify. But you can listen to us anywhere you find podcasts for now.
That's what a nightmare. AI is truly, truly a nightmare.
Bro.
Shit. Shit. All right, guys and gals. And of course, you can catch Zach and I on Patreon doing right now we are currently going through Larry Cohen's filmography on the Tour de Force and having a fun time with that. I think, Erin, we're going to be recording our God Told Me To day after tomorrow, so looking forward to that. So we're right at the beginning, and Larry Cohen has a lot of movies, so we're going to be with him for a good hot minute. But thank you all so much to everyone who, of course, does support us and everything. And, of course, go leave Manic Movie Monday podcast a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're listening to Erin and Hillary on Spotify, leave them a 5-star review. If you're listening to them on Apple, leave them a 5-star review. Just support. That's the easiest thing you can do to help a podcast out. Just leave them a 5-star review because they deserve it. And guys and gals, as always, we'll catch you on the dark side.
Be sure to subscribe to Podcasting After Dark on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can support the show by joining our Patreon page, picking up a t-shirt from our merch store, or leaving us a 5-star review. Follow us on Instagram at Podcasting After Dark. All links can be found on our website at www.podcastingafterdark.com. And join us next time for another cult movie or TV show review with Corey Stevenson and Zach Schaefer.
Hey everybody, it's me, Corey.
And Zach.
We wanted to tell you all about our exclusive Patreon tier called A Tour de Force, where each season we go through a different auteur's complete filmography in order from beginning to end.
If you sign up now for just $5 a month, you unlock our complete back catalog for John Carpenter, Don Coscarelli, and William Lustig. That's over 50 episodes.
And we are currently going through Larry Cohen's filmography, so you'll get all those episodes as well.
Thank you to everyone that supports Podcasting After Dark on Patreon.
You keep the show going. And as always,
we'll catch you on the dark side.